At certain moments, it seems that everything you want is just a millimeter away, but still out of reach. Some people, with a simple thought before going to sleep, wake up with solutions that seemed impossible. Others live trying, repeating mantras, following methods, but nothing changes. What really separates these two worlds? There's one factor that is never mentioned in tutorials, popular books, or motivational quotes. A detail that escapes the eye, but decides everything. The internal state at the exact moment of desire. It is not the number of words spoken, nor the time spent visualizing. It is what you feel and what you vibrate when the request is made. And that subtle difference is what determines whether something will happen in minutes or drag on for weeks. While many try to impress the universe with grandiose speeches or exhaustive statements, others get answers with a single sentence. Yes, a single statement is enough, as long as it is imbued with the right frequency. And that is precisely what has transformed a simple technique into one of the most effective tools of recent times. It is known by a discreet, almost whispered name, Whisper. The name says it all. No shouting to the universe. No demands. Just a quiet murmur, made at the most sensitive time of the day, when a mind prepares for sleep and the subconscious opens like a silent door. The application is almost ridiculously simple. Before falling asleep, state firmly and gratefully something you want to happen, but not in the form of a request. Use words of affirmation. Something like, I am grateful that my cell phone is working normally again. Simple, direct, without exaggeration. A phrase like this, uttered with genuine emotion, can realign your vibrational field in a matter of seconds. And it doesn't matter what language you use. The vibration does not depend on the language you speak, but on the energy you put into your words. Whether in Portuguese, Spanish, Hindi, French, or any other language, what matters is what is being transmitted on a subtle level. The universe understands emotion, not grammar. What many people don't realize is that the act of giving thanks for something that hasn't happened yet is actually a leap of faith. And that leap sends a powerful signal. I have already received. By doing this, the individual leaves the field of lack and enters the territory of certainty. And it is in this territory that reality reorganizes itself. This practice can be done more than once a day. In the morning, early afternoon, at sunset, and before bed. Each moment can be dedicated to a different desire. There is no limit, but the key remains the same: gratitude in advance with emotional presence. No attachment, no desesperación. There are many reports from people who have used this technique. Some have received answers in 5 minutes. Others have solved problems that have been stuck for months in just a few hours. And all with the same structure. A simple statement, made with confidence and delivered to the silence of the night. And the most curious thing is that this technique does not depend on a heightened emotional state. You don't have to be radiant, euphoric, or ecstatic. You just have to be at peace. When there is inner peace, the vibration is clean. And where there is clarity, there is manifestation. That is why many report that after applying Whisper, they feel a deep lightness, as if something had been released. And this release is, in fact, the first step toward fulfillment. It is the moment when the mind lets go of control and creation becomes possible. For those who are just starting out and still have doubts, the tip is to start with simple desires. Situations that are easy to imagine, such as receiving a specific message, finding something lost, or resolving a minor setback. When these manifestations occur, confidence increases, and with it, the vibrational field strengthens. It is important to remember, the universe does not respond to what you say you want, but to what you truly believe you already have. And Whisper is a tool that helps to trick, in a positive way, your own mental system. By acting as if something is already real, You activate the parallel reality where it is already available. And if this content has made sense to you so far, take this moment to leave your mark. Liking this video, commenting on what you've read so far, or even sending it to someone who needs an answer is a way to keep that energy moving. Every conscious action creates more connection. It is no coincidence that this technique is increasingly mentioned in spaces that deal with manifestation and co-creation. It is accessible, practical, and above all, powerful. But like any tool, it only generates results when used with intention. So the next time something seems out of reach, try shifting your focus. Instead of wishing anxiously, give thanks with conviction. Declare calmly, surrender lightly. And then just watch. The answer will not come because you forced it. It will come because you aligned yourself. After noticing the first effects of the whisper technique, many people discover something that goes beyond one-off manifestation. It is an opportunity to transform their very way of thinking. After all, what good is a powerful technique if the mind remains stuck in the same patterns that sabotage results? This is where a complementary and essential approach comes in to consolidate real change. A practice that acts directly on the hidden structure of thoughts, 10K training. This technique was created with a single goal in mind, to reprogram the belief system in a profound, practical, and lasting way. This is because almost all recurring problems, financial difficulties, emotional blocks, frustrating relationships, originate from information stored throughout our lives. Memories, traumas, repeated phrases from childhood. All of this forms a mental code that determines what we believe is possible or not. And like any code, it can be updated. Just repeat a new instruction long enough until it overrides the previous ones. The mind is a trainable system, and the 10K training uses precisely this logic. Through a simple, clear, and powerful phrase, repeated consistently, it is possible to replace limitations with possibilities. For example, those who grew up hearing that money is hard probably carry this idea in their subconscious, even without realizing it. This silent belief becomes a filter, and everything that comes to the person has to pass through it. The result? Opportunities are ignored, decisions are postponed, and reality repeats what the mind holds to be true. The proposal here is to reverse this process. Choose a statement that represents what you want to experience. Something like, "My reality is always improving," or "Abundance comes to me with ease." Repeat this phrase daily, several times a day, until it becomes so familiar that your mind accepts it as natural. It may seem too simple to work, but it is precisely this simplicity that makes the technique so effective. There is no need for excessive effort. Repetition, when done with feeling, works behind the scenes. It's like planting a seed and watering it often. One day, it breaks through the soil, and you didn't even notice the exact moment it happened. This practice can be done when you wake up, before bed, during a walk, or even mentally while performing other tasks. The important thing is to keep your intention clear and be consistent every day. Over time, your mind will adjust, and the outside world will follow suit. Many reports show that after just a few days of practice, subtle changes begin to emerge. Situations that were previously stuck find solutions, distant people reappear, and business flows more naturally. And this is not magic. It is a direct consequence of the new frequency that is being emitted. If you want to further enhance the effect, write the chosen phrase in several places: mirrors, notebooks, papers, cell phone alarms. Surround yourself with this new idea until it becomes part of you. When this happens, manifestation ceases to be a goal and becomes a reflection of your new internal pattern. This technique works because it dissolves the conflict between desire and belief. Often, someone says they want something, but deep down, they don't believe it's possible. This conflict creates stagnation. But when the mind begins to accept the idea as real, the resistance disappears, and the energy begins to flow. Another important point is that this practice does not require belief from the outset. Even if you don't feel a total connection with the phrase you have chosen, keep going. Repetition shapes thought, and over time, belief takes hold. What was just an exercise at first becomes a personal truth. And if all of this resonates with you, take the opportunity to interact with this content. Commenting, liking, or sharing with someone who needs to hear this is not just a gesture. It is an extension of your vibration. And when you move with intention, everything around you begins to respond differently. Now, there's a third technique that completes this process in a surprising way. A silent, almost invisible, but extremely powerful practice, the reverse technique. It works on the last, and perhaps most challenging, obstacle on the path to manifestation, attachment to the outcome. Most people are so used to wanting something so badly that they end up creating a block. Desire turns into tension, and tension paralyzes. The reverse technique emerges as a release from this cycle. It teaches that in order to receive, you must first trust. And to truly trust, you must let go. Letting go here does not mean giving up. It means stopping suffocating your desire with worry, doubt, and urgency. It means acting as if everything has already been resolved, like someone who knows that their request has been granted, even if it hasn't yet manifested physically. This vibrational attitude generates an intense field of receptivity. The universe understands that there is no more resistance, and it begins to move everything necessary to materialize what has already been delivered energetically. Often, those who apply the reverse technique report immediate relief. A sense of peace invades the body, as if the problem had disappeared. And in many cases, it really does disappear. Because what was preventing the solution was not the situation, it was the suffocating energy that was being emitted. This technique does not require any specific phrases. There are no rituals or repetitions. Just one choice, to trust completely. And that trust is the fertile ground where silent miracles germinate. The secret here is this. The freer you feel, the faster everything comes. And that freedom does not come from outside. It is born when you decide to let go of control and act with the certainty that everything is falling into place, even if your eyes cannot yet see it. So, by combining these three practices, whisper, 10K training, and reverse technique, you don't just manifest desires. You alter your internal structure, adjust your vibrational field, and allow reality to reflect the new self that is emerging. And if this is already touching something inside you, stay tuned. Like, share, subscribe. This connection can be the beginning of a new reality. One where everything begins to happen with ease, clarity, and perfect synchronicity. There's a point where manifestation ceases to be a conscious effort and becomes something natural, almost automatic. When this happens, the desire no longer needs to be affirmed, reinforced, or remembered. It has already been surrendered, absorbed by the vibration, and is on its way. This final point in the process is not achieved through more effort, but through more lightness. The three techniques discussed so far work together as parts of the same mechanism. Whisper activates the field with clarity and anticipatory gratitude. The 10K formation replaces old mental patterns that block the flow. And the reverse technique removes the last barrier, attachment to control. This is when something magical happens, but not in a supernatural sense. What manifests is the collapse of resistance. And when resistance disappears, what you want starts to seek you out. It's like changing the position of a magnet. What once seemed distant is now effortlessly attracted. Most people look for techniques to make things happen. But few understand that true transformation lies in becoming the version of yourself that naturally attracts it. When that happens, there is no longer any urgency. There is no anxiety. There is only the quiet certainty that everything is being taken care of behind the scenes of the universe. The reverse technique teaches that there is no need to insist on something that is already on its way. Just as a confirmed order does not need constant monitoring, your desires, once vibrated correctly, do not need continuous checking. They do not come true because you insist. They come true because you stop getting in the way. And getting out of the way, in this context, means letting go, acting normally, going about your life with confidence, not looking at the clock, waiting for something to happen. Just follow. And it is in this natural movement that the unexpected appears, because the mind is no longer blocking the flow. It is cooperating. Perhaps this is the most difficult stage for those just starting out. The mind wants to control, measure, compare. But the universe does not respond to measurements. It responds to states. And the state of peace is the most receptive there is. When you're at peace with what you want, it comes. That is why it is so important to observe not only what you think, but how you feel when you think. Wanting something while fearing you will not get it is the same as declaring that it is far away. Giving thanks for something as if it were already yours is what immediately brings the experience closer. The repetition of the 10K training acts as a tuner in this process. Gradually, automatic thoughts begin to change. You stop thinking, "I can't," and begin to realize that anything is possible. And this change does not come from theory. It comes from daily, consistent, and emotionally engaged practice. The mind learns through repetition, but vibration is shaped by feeling. When these two forces meet, a statement repeated with genuine emotion, the subconscious accepts it, and everything changes. On the other hand, whisper acts as a silent trigger. It's the vibrational button you press at the end of the day to send your signal. Done calmly, it becomes a direct message to the universe. It has already happened, and that already is what breaks the cycle of waiting and activates the quantum field. The three techniques work as a natural cycle. First, you declare with gratitude. Then, you reinforce with positive repetition. Finally, you let go with confidence. That's the rhythm. That's the flow. When this cycle is respected, manifestation ceases to be a struggle and becomes a dance. It's important to remember that there is no right time. For some, results come in hours. For others, in days. Time is just a reflection of your inner resistance. The less resistance, the faster the return. And that resistance dissolves with practice, faith, and conscious vibrational action. If you've made it this far, something has probably already stirred within you. Perhaps a new understanding. Perhaps an urge to apply what you've learned. If so, don't put it off. Choose a technique. Try it today. Observe what you feel. And keep going. And if this content has brought you value, carry that vibration forward. Liking, commenting, sharing. These are ways to keep the energy flowing. And when you become an active part of this field, everything begins to respond back. To continue receiving content that truly transforms and not just informs, subscribe. Because this is just the beginning. There's so much more waiting to be discovered and lived. The universe doesn't need proof. It needs clarity. And now you know how to generate it.